Have you ever put on your headphones at your desk and there's nothing playing? No music, no podcast, just you, the headphones, and the quiet understanding that they need to be on your head right now. And then maybe someone looked at you sideways, or maybe you looked at yourself sideways, wondering if you were being antisocial, or rude, or just a little bit odd. You are about to feel incredibly seen. Because those headphones aren't just a music delivery system. They are a psychological tool. A very sophisticated one. And the fact that you're using them, especially when nothing is playing, reveals something genuinely fascinating about how your mind is wired. You are not antisocial. You are not difficult. Your nervous system is just really smart. Today we're breaking down the psychology behind why some people use headphones as a shield in the office. Not as a way to be rude, not as a way to avoid work, but as a survival strategy. Because here's what nobody tells you. Open-plan offices were designed for collaboration. But for a certain type of brain, your type of brain, they create a very specific kind of invisible pressure that most people around you never even notice. By the end of this, you're not going to just understand yourself better. You're going to realize that what you've been doing all along is exactly what your brain needed. Here's what's actually happening. Let's start with your nervous system. Open offices are sensory chaos. Keyboard clicks, side conversations, the guy 2 desks over on a speaker call, the printer, the hum of the HVAC, the sound of someone unwrapping a sandwich. For most people, the brain filters this out automatically through a process called sensory habituation. Basically, your brain labels those sounds as non-threatening and deprioritizes them so you can focus. But for some brains, this filter works differently. Every sound is still being processed. Every nearby conversation is still partially tracked. Every movement in your peripheral vision still registered. This is called heightened sensory processing. And it doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It means your brain is harder to fool. It refuses to fully ignore anything until it has decided it's safe. Headphones give your nervous system what it's been desperately asking for: a controllable sensory environment. You're not shutting the world out. You're creating the conditions your brain needs to finally stop running its surveillance system and start actually thinking. Here's where it gets even more interesting. We all know that offices have physical boundaries: desks, walls, chairs. But psychologically, open offices have almost no boundaries at all. Anyone can interrupt you at any moment, and that creates a very specific kind of anxiety that's difficult to name, but incredibly easy to feel. Psychologists call this boundary ambiguity. When you don't know when the next interruption is coming, your brain can't fully commit to any task. It runs a background process, a kind of quiet standby alert, just in case someone needs you. Your headphones are a visible psychological boundary. They signal to others, "I'm not available right now." But more importantly, they signal to your own brain, "You are safe to focus. No interruption is coming. You can go deep." It's a portable do not disturb sign. But instead of just telling other people, it actually tells your nervous system the same thing. And your nervous system believes it. Now this one is the reason so many people wear headphones with nothing playing. And it's the one most people never realize is happening. When you put on headphones, you're not just blocking noise. You're entering a mode, a different mental state. Psychologists call it deep work mode, a state of concentrated, high-quality focus where your brain is operating at its most powerful. But here's the fascinating part. The act of putting on the headphones can become what's called a conditioned cue. Your brain learns to associate that specific action, headphones on, with focus. Like how a runner laces up specific shoes and their brain says, "Time to run." The headphones themselves become the trigger, the ritual, the switch. So when nothing is playing and you still put them on, that's not weird. That's advanced cognitive self-management. You've trained your brain to shift gears on command. You're not hiding. You're ritualizing concentration. And that is an extraordinarily intelligent habit. This one is the most overlooked, and possibly the most important. Open offices are emotionally complex environments. There's always a social landscape playing out. Someone is tense. Someone just got difficult feedback. There's an atmosphere you can feel but not quite explain. For people with high emotional attunement, the ones who walk into a room and immediately absorb the emotional temperature, this is genuinely exhausting. Because you're not just doing your work, you're simultaneously tracking everyone around you, processing their moods, their body language, their micro-expressions. And most of that is happening without your permission. Headphones create an emotional buffer. They reduce the volume of social and emotional data flowing into your system. Not because you don't care, but because your brain cares too much to function without some protection. This is nervous system regulation. It is not avoidance. It is not weakness. It is your mind, very quietly, taking care of itself. And finally, here's the most honest one. Some of us find open social environments quietly overwhelming. Not because something is broken in us, but because our threat detection systems are set to a higher sensitivity than average. Social anxiety, at its core, is not irrational. It is your brain treating social disapproval as a genuine threat. And it does that because, for most of human history, being rejected by your group had real consequences for survival. Your brain hasn't forgotten that. So when you put on headphones in the office, you're not being avoidant. You're doing something genuinely brilliant. You are converting a passive drain into an active strategy. You've taken the signal your nervous system was sending, too much, too loud, too unpredictable, and instead of fighting it or feeling ashamed of it, you've built a tool around it. Your sensitivity is not the problem. It is the source material for one of your most effective coping strategies. You are not antisocial. You are not difficult. And you are definitely not broken. Your headphones are not a wall. They are a bridge between the environment that exists and the environment your mind actually needs to do its best work. The next time someone glances at your headphones like you're doing something wrong, you can know something they don't. You're not hiding. Your mind is just incredibly good at taking care of itself. Which of these 5 reasons hit you hardest? Drop the number in the comments. I read every single one.